Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Enyugolu. Now, a Russian crew heading to the International Space Station have given their final pre-blast-off news conference. So far, so unremarkable. But they also form a crew of a different kind, a film crew. They're the winners of the celluloid space race who will shoot what is being billed as the first movie-length drama to be made in zero-gravity conditions. They'll leave in just under 3 weeks and will spend 12 days filming the story of a doctor sent to the space station, although it's not the first film of any kind to be shot on the ISS. Here's an extract from the short film Apogee of Fear, released in 2012, the first science fiction movie filmed in space.
Still trying to juggle, Greg, I see.
I wish Richard were still here. He really knew how to juggle in space.
And you know what? I wish he were here too, because he was really good at settling arguments. You're upside down.
No, you're upside down.
Obviously, you're upside down.
You're the one who's upside down.
No way! You're upside down.
Turn over, you're upside down.
Stop walking on the ceilings, man. It's freaking me out.
Stop telling me I'm upside down.
You're upside down.
You're upside down.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Although I understand it wasn't fun filming it. Well, let's hear how all that was done. Joining me now from London for more on this story is Arise correspondent Judita Dasilva. Lovely to see you, Judita. How difficult was it shooting a movie like that in space? I mean, I imagine preparing for and filming in space comes with a long list of unique challenges.
Yes, it does. When you're thinking about the new Russian projects where they're going to be doing things legitimately. But this was kind of an off-the-cuff decision by Richard Garriott, who was this video games pioneer with lots of money, who happened to pay $30 million for 12 days on the International Space Station. And then while he was there, he made this film. And he said that part of the issues were he had written the screenplay with a friend while he was on Earth and then took it with him. And then some of the cosmonauts and astronauts starred in it, and they weren't trained actors. So issues of inertia were a problem. Getting people to have marks, because you tend to plot out a scene. But because in space, with zero gravity, once you start moving, you keep on moving, so cannot hit a mark. That was an issue. But then also with learning scripts, he had to have cue cards, but the cue cards would float away, or you'd have to fix them. So working in the space restrictions, and also with the scientific nature of the environment, it's made it kind of difficult. But because it was a tongue-in-cheek movie, they leaned into the issues they had.
Well, I mean, let's drill down further into the biggest challenges, because, I mean, this crew are going to the International Space Station. As you said, everything floating around in space, your equipment, your crew, your actions, your props. I mean, just to get people to meet the cues and be at the right place and have the camera looking at the right place, I mean, that presents its own challenges as well.
Yes, it does. So this is where the skills of these two professionals, because the actress, Yulia Peresild, and the director, Klim Shipenko, they are very well known and they're veterans. Klim Shipenko directed a film that's one of the highest grossing in Russia in 2020. They are kind of going to have to learn to do multiple jobs. As Yulia said, she's going to have to be her own makeup artist, work without sound, work without lighting, and also understand that all the things you would normally have, you don't. And she's been doing training in microgravity, which is training her to know about movement. Because like I say, with every scene, a director would be used to blocking out the scene and marking it. Also think about the kinds of cameras you can have, the size of cameras you can have, and how many. They can only have one. Normally when you're shooting it, this is a story of a doctor who goes to save a patient. You would tend to have a two-shot where you have one camera on the main actor, one camera on the interlocutor, and another camera in the wide shot. That's impossible. It's stripped down, it's stripped bare, it's bare essentials. So the performance would have to drive this to be of the standard that these two stars would normally be used to producing.
So every part is a float-on part, basically. I mean, that's not an original line, I have to admit. I heard somebody saying it and I thought it was cute, so here I am. And then there are medical issues, aren't there? Because, I mean, when you're in space, you get this thing called fluid shift, which tends to make everyone look puffy and you feel like you've got a head cold.
Yes. So what they've been doing again is that this was a competition by Roscosmos, which is the Russian cosmonaut program. And they selected Yulia from an audition process. And then she went into training in spring. So based on getting her used to all of those things that will happen, as well as the director to capturing it, they've been in training already, and they've been doing it rather intensively because Russia is in this space race to get the project done first. But then you also have to deal with the fact that there have been lots of glitches with the Russian space gear because they'll be shooting this on the Russian side of the International Space Station. So they have to know that they've been having issues with air leaking from that section of the space station, as well as other issues with the equipment. That's why they've trained them to not only be performers, but also crews. So they've had medical training, they've had technical training, safety training, both in the capsule that takes them there and for while they're on the station. So people are going to have to wear multiple hats, not only to deliver the project, but to stay safe while doing so.
But that's always the challenge, isn't it? Going from the training to the real McCoy. It's a bit like saying that you train people to be soldiers and then they go into the theater of war and it's a totally different kettle of fish because you can't predict, I mean, what the other side are going to do. I mean, they're not reading from the same script, basically. So if you're going to try to film a high quality narrative movie, which is what this is aspiring to be, just preparing your actors for coming on set, and things like getting the hair right, the makeup, trying to make them feel like they're not sick. I mean, those are all additional levels of challenges without making you repeat yourself over and over again.
Oh, yes, they are, because Julia said that for the first time in her illustrious career, she's going to have to be her own sound person, her own lighting person, do her own hair, do her own makeup. But what the director has said, Klim Shipenko, is that he wants to capture through his protagonist, through his star, a sense that everybody watching the film will feel like they are like her. So the stripped back nature of the film, the very bare essential nature of the film is what's going to make people feel like that's me. And then it will be down to her acting chops for her to deliver that feeling of weightlessness as well as the narrative. Because when you think of films who have done this before, you're thinking about Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, Duncan Jones' Moon, or Gravity by Alfonso Cuarón, or The Martian by Ridley Scott. These are all done on Hollywood sets, and everybody praised the performances because it showed claustrophobia and isolation. For the first time ever, Yulia will get to experience that live while delivering the performance. And that's where you get the magical moments in movies, where reality and fiction blend together to create a moment unlike any other.
And I mean, beyond the sort of the Russians, or I should say in addition to the Russians, I mean, there's something of a space race now, isn't there? A bit like what we're seeing with the sort of the passengers going off to orbit the Earth and so on. Because I understand that Tom Cruise is planning to get up there as well. And I mean, he loves his action films, doesn't he? That's going to be quite a challenge, shooting an action film.
I know I'm giggling, but people shouldn't really scoff at Tom Cruise. He's arguably one of the most influential and powerful names in Hollywood. Last year, they announced that he was going to be working with NASA. NASA actually made the announcement that he and Elon Musk's SpaceX will be shooting a film on the International Space Station. That's when Roscosmos leaped to action and fast-tracked the approval of this new film from Russia, because they know if Tom Cruise says he's going to do a project, he will do it. It's a matter of when. And will he do it before Russia? They don't want it, because remember, Russia put the first satellite in space, the first dog in space, the first man in space, the first woman in space. They want the bragging rights of the first film in space. And going up against a titan like Tom Cruise, if you don't do it quickly, he will do it first, he will do it bigger, and he will do it better.
Absolutely. And on that note, Judita, thank you very much indeed. Judita Dasilva, Arise correspondent, talking to me there from London. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja and around the world, bye-bye and thank you for watching.